This is the T-Bus Hurricane
Yeah,
special.
yeah. So it's currently Wednesday when we're filming this, October 9th. Hurricane, what is it? Milton.
Nope.
Hurricane Joe Milton is
Yep.
making.
Hurricane Joe Milton.
Joe Milton.
Um, our
That shit's
thoughts
not hitting
our
nothing.
our thoughts and prayers are with everybody who will be affected by the time that this comes out. Shout out to Cam, Nixon, and Kobe, who are all currently in the great state of Florida right now, hunkering down. If you've been watching the Boys Upstairs show for 4 years, which if you have, shout out you, but you have witnessed Cam be a Giants fan, a Browns fan, and now a
No, you
Dolphins fan.
haven't.
And yes, you have. That is true. And all of those
That's
teams
an
suck.
actual statement.
Like
Data.
all of the teams that you like are horrible. So
I go to college in Cleveland, and all of a sudden, I just love the Browns.
Cam, if I really wanted to go through the tape, which is going to take me too long, so I probably won't while editing this video, and find videos of you picking the Browns as your lock and saying, I'm a Cleveland fan, I love the Browns, like I'm sure I could find that. So
Are you a Syracuse fan, Tommy?
yes, I am. I claim them now. Shout out
Oh
Kyle McCord.
my God.
Come on the show, Kyle McCord. Hello and welcome to the Boys Upstairs show. This is the Week 6 NFL show. Welcome back, everybody. I'm back with more data to start the show. There are 10 games with home dogs in Week 6 this week, which is tied for the most ever in a single week since 1972. So a lot of home dogs, more home dogs this week than there has ever been in any of our lifetimes. Game 1 on the slate. I remember to do that for the first time. The 2-3 Cardinals are going to Green Bay. Packers are 3-2. Total is 49.5. Packers are favored -5.5. It's a 1 p.m. start. We will give it to Nixon.
Yeah, this is a very interesting game, in my opinion, because we got a Cardinals team that's coming off a huge win against the Niners, and a Packers team that's kind of been a little bit up and down, a little bit inconsistent this year. I know they had an injury at quarterback, so I am going to take the Cardinals plus, I believe it's 5.5. Correct me
Yep.
if I'm wrong, Tommy. Yep. I believe that the Cardinals offense is very, very it's clicking at the right time right now. They look good. They look like they kind of have a cohesion. We had a lot of questions after the first 2 weeks about Marvin Harrison, but he's coming into his own a little bit. They have other receiver weapons as well. Kyler Murray is running the ball well. So I think that the Cardinals are going to cover. I don't think they're necessarily going to win, but I believe they cover that 5.5.
I'll go nuts. I don't see a world where the Cardinals cover. I could see this game being like the over hitting tremendously. There's going to be absolutely no defense in this game, and if it is going to be defense, it's going to be played by the Packers. But the Cardinals' defense is just so bad that it takes them out of games, no matter how good Kyler Murray is. I think the Packers are one of those defense where they just randomly have receivers open down the field, like Jaden Reed to just be streaking, or he'll catch a 50-yard go ball on top of somebody's head for no reason. So I think the Packers are going to cover. I think the over is going to hit as well.
The Packers are kind of building an identity of starting slow and coming back and picking it up in the second half, as we've seen. I am actually going to go back to last year and go back to my trademark. I'm going to take the first half under 24 and a half.
I was waiting for you to do this.
For that reason, the first half under is back. No need to fear. I'm back. Don't worry. 24 and a half. I think I could totally see this game starting a little slow. Both teams trying to feel each other out. I don't honestly remember the last time the Cardinals played the
Oh,
Packers, but two teams aren't necessarily totally familiar with each other. I think it might take a little bit for both offenses to get in a rhythm. And then the second half, you saw it last week with the Cardinals. You saw it last week with the Packers. Both offenses kind of exploded. Once they get into their rhythm, both of them really start to get going. And this stat, which I found, and I really hope I read it right, is that Jordan Love has never covered and won a game twice in a row in his young career in the
That's
NFL.
good data right there.
Yeah, and so he covered and won last week against the Rams, and here we go. The data says that he will not do that this week. 5.5 it's a weird line, but I'm gonna take the Cardinals plus 5.5 here. Another stat when the Cardinals are bigger underdogs, Kyler is better. the 13-6-2 against the spread as a dog of 4 points or more. And I feel like, yeah, that's kind of a middling line, but I do kind of feel like when the Cardinals are always counted out of games like this, these are the ones that they show up for some reason. And then the next week, they're like a 1 point favorite on the Saints and then end up getting blown out. I feel like that's just Cardinals football. But I'm pretty confident in that first half under. And I think the Cards can keep this one close. The Packers, I don't know. They might be running. They don't look like the Packers that we're used to seeing of kind of dominating. They look flawed. Matt LaFleur, great coach, and they have that explosive offense where they have pass plays and stuff, but they haven't been able to put together a full 60 minutes of it. So we'll see.
Really quick. Last time these two teams played was October 28th, 2021. Aaron Rodgers, obviously still a quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. Kyler Murray did play in this game. The Packers won 24-21. So I will bring some data. Shout out data. Matt LaFleur is 24-11, which equals 69% as a dog in his career, which is the best of any head coach in the Super Bowl era, which is pretty significant. So he loves being a dog. When Kyler is on the road in his career, he is 22-11 to the under. I think that despite these teams not having, super great defenses, I think that this game, for whatever reason, like even before I had that little nugget on Kyler on the road, I felt like this was going to be an under game. And because of the spread being what it is, I'm not going to pick a side. If it was Packers -2.5, I would take the Packers because I do feel like they'll probably end up winning this ball game. But similar to like how I just said in 2021, I could see this being a field goal game. And I don't know if either of these teams are true contenders. So I'm just going to take the under here. And my picks this year have not been great. So I'm going to try to take the less is more approach and just get 3 right. And that's it.
I'm going to go with the Packers. The Cardinals, they did pull out a win last week against the 49ers, but I'm pretty sure the 49ers were up 2 on their own, or like not on their own, on the Cardinals, 2-yard line, about to score, and then Jordan Mason fumbles, and then the Cardinals drive down the field and score. So they're a Jordan Mason fumble away from being 1-4, but they're 2-3 instead. The other team they beat was the Rams when they randomly blew them out, but they lost to Washington, lost to Detroit, lost to Buffalo. The Packers, I mean, I get up and down, but they're 3-2, and the 2 games they lost were week 1 against Philly, and they lost to Minnesota, went by 2 points when they started out down 28. They tried to do the 28-0 challenge. It didn't work out. The Packers have played 5 games this year, a little bit of data. They've held teams to less than 20 in their 3 wins, and in their 2 losses, they've let up over 30. So they, like I said, they play good against bad teams, and they play bad against good teams. The Cardinals, although a shaky team, their offense is electric. Kyler Murray's been great. Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson, they've all been great. Trey McBride, upcoming tight end there. They've been playing really good. James Conner's been playing great. So I think that both the offenses are going to score. I feel like this is going to be a high-scoring game. Packers defense struggles against good teams. Cardinals defense struggles against literally anybody, high school, JV, JUCO, anybody. So I'm taking the Packers spread. Shout out our fans in Wisconsin. And I'm taking the
A lot
over.
of them.
Also, shout out the guy who was semi-racist to Scott, saying that
Yeah, what the fuck was that about?
that was just some guy talking from his mom's basement who's
Oh,
mad.
Send the
that-
cavalry after you. Did you live in Green Bay?
yeah, like you will not meet a better human being in your entire lifetime than Scott McCabe. So going after him of all people is the lowest of the low.
If you want to chirp someone, like chirp Cam or
Yeah.
Sean, do you want to go?
No, Sean's fixing his guitar.
Tuning his guitar.
Yeah. So I know a lot about the Cardinals and Packers, obviously. I believe the Cardinals beat the Niners last week.
Yes,
So
correct.
that's pretty
Read
big.
correctly.
So yeah, I'm gonna take the Cardinals.
Game 2 on the slate here. We've got the 3-1 Detroit Lions going to Dallas against the 3-2 Dallas Cowboys. Lions are favored. This is one of the 10 home dogs. Lions are favored on the road -3. They're coming off a bye, the first week of byes last week. Total's 52.5. This is a 425 start, and we'll give it to Kobe.
Yeah, so Scott's not here, and I feel bad. So sorry, Scott, whenever you see this, but I will be starting
Shout out
off.
Scott in
Shout out
Scotland.
Scott.
Shout out
Absolutely.
Scott, currently in Scotland. Which
Oh, he's in Scotland right now.
Shout out
Yeah.
Scotland Scott.
Yep.
Globetrotting.
But back to that, I'm sorry, Scott, for whenever you see this, because I will be starting out with the Lions -3. The Lions, they have a couple more quality wins. They just had, before the bye week, they just had their first really good offensive game. They've been scoring 20-ish a week, but the Lions the last few years have been held to a standard that if they don't score 30, 40 points, that's not Lions football. Dallas offense is not clicking. You see CD and Dak aren't getting along. You see Dak is back to throwing it to people not wearing Cowboys jerseys. You see Rico Dowdle is literally not supposed to be in the NFL. He's like the Bishop Gorman thing where he's just kind of ended up on an NFL roster and they're like, hey,
I will say this, Kobe. We're supposed to be one of the best defense in the NFL. I was on my mountaintop saying we're the best defense in the NFL through 3 weeks. Rico Dowdle looked like fucking Derrick Henry against us. So
but you
maybe
guys
we
still held
just
them to
suck.
20. You held them to 20, and it was, if they didn't score a last second touchdown, you really held them to 13. So, bend don't break.
Yeah.
But it was still a physical game. They're still probably a little beaten up. Lions are fresh. So I think that they take this game by more than 3. I think 3 is I guess the 3 points is because they're not at home, but I think that this game goes under. 52.5 is a high total for these two teams. I just don't see a lot of points being scored. Dallas offense isn't clicking. Lions offense isn't necessarily clicking like it normally does. So I'm gonna take the Lions and the under.
It feels like we pick it a lot, so I'm not gonna sit here and try to convince you all why the Cowboys or the Lions are gonna win this game. Because picking a Cowboys game is like going to a casino at 2 a.m. blackout drunk and trying to pick red or black. You just really don't know, especially at this point. They haven't proven anything. They've shown they went into Pittsburgh and beat a really tough Steelers defense, but then they go and shit the bed against other teams that aren't as good. You just really don't know. What I'm thinking in this game is we're gonna see points. We're gonna see a lot of points. So I'm gonna take the over 52.5 and leave it with that. But Jared Goff's in his bag right now. Pitched a perfect game 2 weeks ago. I think it'll be entertaining, 4 o'clock window. But yeah, I mean, all I can really confidently say here is it's gonna be a shootout. So over.
So I'm looking at some data here because I remembered off the top of my head. The Cowboys are ranked 24 in rush defense so far this year, 6 weeks into the season. They average about 135 yards a game. They give up 135 yards a game, and they've allowed 8 rushing touchdowns. With the two-headed monster that the Lions have at running back, I kind of agree with Sam's sentiment of, the Cowboys are going to give up some points. And even though up to this point, the Lions have been pretty stout on defense, I could see them having a down game because all things considered, the Cowboys just played the Steelers, which, like Tommy said, is like, it's one of the best defenses in the league. So it's hard to use that as a sample. But it seemed like Dak and CD weren't on the same page, and it hasn't been that way so far this year. But I feel like this is the type of game where you see them have a good connection. The Cowboys are a great team at home. And it feels like that they need to this is kind of like a desperation win for them. They're falling behind the division. They haven't really looked great. I know they just went into Pittsburgh and won, but they need to kind of get their footing. So I think that the offense is going to show up, but I don't think the Cowboys defense is going to show up because they haven't showed up all year. They're playing a team that has a lot of weapons, even though they haven't really put up the numbers that we're used to seeing the Lions put up. I think that the Lions put up a lot of points. The Cowboys also put up a lot of points. So I'm going to go and take the over on this one, and I'm also going to take the Lions as well, -3.
So all I'll say on this game is I don't know if it was on like social media or whatnot, but the interaction, what Nixon was saying between Dak and CD when Dak threw the pick in the end zone and he like goes over to the sidelines, he like mouths like nice throw Dak like sarcastically. Like there's obviously like a disconnect there and there's doesn't seem to be the connection like there was in past years. So I think like someone said, Steelers offense was awful and defense kind of fell apart towards the end. And I like the two-headed monster for the Lions running backs, and I'll take them.
I was going to talk about how the Cowboys are bottom 8 in the league versus the run, and the Lions are top 5 in the league, rushing offense wise. That's been touched on already, so I will bring some alternative data to the table here. Over the last 3 years, totals above 50 go under 71% of the time. This total is currently sitting at 52.5. Could change a little bit. This is Wednesday. The show will come out on Friday. I'm going to take the under here. I think this is a lot of points. Like Sam was talking about, the Cowboys haven't necessarily put up a lot of points this year. And there's another piece of data that I have here that I'm a little skeptical about. The Cowboys have beat the Lions 6 straight times, straight up. I feel like this is the best the Lions have been in however many times that is, years wise, probably 15 years, maybe 10 years. So I'm going to take the Lions -3. I'm going to take the under 52.5. I think that the Cowboys, it's widely documented that I'm not a huge fan of the Cowboys. And I feel like most people feel that way about the Cowboys. We have to watch them on primetime every week. We have to hear about them on ESPN every week. And the Lions are basically America's darling team. So I think that this game is going to be very entertaining. I'm excited to watch it. And Jared Goff versus Dak Prescott matchup should be entertaining, but I still think it won't be 52.5 points entertaining. So I'm going to take the Lions in the under.
The Lions are better. Just they're probably going to put up more points than the Cowboys with everything that's going on with the offense. So yeah, Detroit spread.
It's time for the best part of the show. It's time for the locks of the week, and we will give it to Sam.
All right, gentlemen. As everyone knows in this call right now, I've been very antsy to give my lock this week, and it's because I did it week 1 and it worked. So we're going to do it again here. I wanted to pick this game. The fact that the Bears are only 2.5-point favorites on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we're even underdogs at a point, I'll get to that in a second, is disrespectful. I think it's time to start looking at the Bears as a legitimate football team here. Last week or a couple days ago, Sunday, was as good and as confident as I've seen, or as confident as I've felt in Caleb Williams this entire year to date. I think he's here to stay. He's kind of had his breakthrough games, shaking out some of the rookie jitters or whatever. But I'm very happy with what I'm seeing right now. And I think before this week, there was some kind of, hey, Steelers defense is really good. Vikings defense is really good. I think it's time that we can say the Bears are the best defensive unit in football right now. And that's I think that's pretty clear in terms of EPA. Best secondary right in front of the Vikings. Steelers have dropped down a little bit in that level. And we are missing an important guy in Jaquan Brisker this week, who I will stand here and say, or sit here and say, is one of the best, if not the best, strong safety in the National Football League right now. He's that good. The dude's a machine. He's everywhere. And you've got underrated guys. You've got all your big guys, Edwards, Edmonds, Kevin Byard, Jalen Johnson. But then you've got your playmakers like Gervon Dexter Sr., who, if you look at the data, has outplayed Jalen Carter, who was drafted a round ahead of him by a lot through his 2 seasons. Jalen Carter gets all the glory because he's in Philly and we're Chicago, so everyone sleeps on us. And then you've got Kyler Gordon in the slot corner, just going around making plays, Spider-Man. It's an electric defense to watch. And that was as least stressed as I've been as a Bears fan in years watching that game on Sunday, which made me feel good. And sure,
in years. So
yeah, sure, you could
with
say
any year with Justin Fields.
Stress in terms of like stress level.
I mean,
would say-
stress essentially equates to confidence in winning the game. So
I would say the least. I would say it was close to the amount of stress I felt at the end of the 2022 season when it was so obvious that we were tanking. But Fields would run for like 170 yards every week, so that was fun to watch. But it was like, okay, we're not winning this. But moving on from that, the Jaguars are not a good football team. They just went into shootout with the Colts, who are, yeah, they beat us, but they are an iffy. They are just kind of right on the shoulders of Joe Flacco right now. By the way, Joe Flacco is literally turning into the bar rescue of injured quarterbacks or bad quarterback play. But I digress. 2.5 points, and here's the stat: we started off as an underdog. Crazy as that is, only 5 international games have had a team open as an underdog and close at a line of -1.5 or higher. We're currently at 2.5. Those teams are 5-0 straight up and against the spread. So I brought the data with me today. I think we're gonna pick apart their defense and maybe put up 28 points, maybe put up 30 points again if we get lucky. But even without a big playmaker like Brisker, I don't see this. Yeah, you've got the dual punch right now of Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne, which is looking to be better, or get their offense a little bit of a spark. And the rush is the one area that the Bears defense has a little bit of a weakness on. But I think it's going to come down to whose defense can last the longest. And I'm going to take the Bears out of that 9 times out of 10. And let's hope to see Caleb and DJ Moore going again. Let's get Cole Kmet involved. Let's get Dunze involved again. Keenan Allen, I want to see some touchdowns from him. I mean, the sky's the limit here, folks. And let's go. Bears -2.5.
This one hurts my soul a little bit, but I do this for you. I do this for the public. The Bengals are favored -3.5 going to the New Jersey, what's it called? Meadowlands. Giants are coming off a surprise win to the Seattle Seahawks. Fucked up a lot of parlays, including mine. Although I also had the Patriots, so that also fucked it up. Shout out Kobe. But I brought some data here on this game, which I feel like this data is going to circulate if it hasn't already circulated. Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones is 1-14 straight, 1-14 straight up in prime time in his career, which is crazy that he's played 15 games under the lights. Out of those, he's 0-7 at home. This game is at home. The Bengals are 1-4. They have to win this game. This is like literally, if they lose this game, there's going to be a mutiny in the locker room. So I'm going with the Bengals -3.5 here. Hate the Bengals, but yeah, I feel like the Bengals are going to win this game by at least a touchdown, maybe multiple touchdowns. So give me the Bengals -3.5.
It's crazy. I hate the Bengals, but it's just so crazy that Joe Burrow's been playing as good as he has, and they're 1-4. Like,
I was just about to say that.
It is actually like he's a damn near MVP candidate, and this motherfucker's 1-4. Like it's fucked up.
They have to win it. They have to win at some point. Like they keep losing these games. Like, I mean, they went toe to toe with one of the best teams in the league in the Ravens. So I feel like they definitely beat the Giants.
Yeah, 100%. That's a great pick. But I'll go ahead and jump in. I'm going to go ahead and take the Chargers against the Broncos. I'm just finding myself wondering, how the hell do they have a winning record? Like, like watching Bo Nix play quarterback, it's like a surreal experience. This guy will throw like the dumbest pass you've ever seen, and then you check back into the game and it's like, oh shit, the Broncos won. You're like, what the hell happened? I know their defense is elite. Like obviously Pat Surtain is the best corner in the NFL, and they have a pretty good defense, so maybe that has a lot to do with it. But I think that the Chargers, they're desperate for a win. I know Herbert isn't all the way healthy yet, but this is the type of week where you go into the game against a team where you need to win, and you just got to get it done. So Harbaugh is going to get the boys ready, and they're going to go in and beat the Broncos.
I'm gonna take the Bills -3 against the Jets. Monday Night Football. Let's talk prime time. You know, the Jets, they're just falling apart. I mean, they have Jeff Ulbrich as their head coach for this week, interim head coach. So far, he's had experience as like a defensive coordinator, a linebackers coach, and the highest level of coaching. He was the assistant head coach for the Atlanta Falcons in 2020, where they went 4-12. The offense isn't clicking, receiver wise. Everybody is they're just not playing well. And the Bills, they just came off a tough loss due to some questionable coaching at the end of the game, lost to the Texans. Maybe if they didn't do that bullshit at the end of the game, throw it 3 times with like 20 seconds left, they could have pulled out the win. So they have a chip on their shoulder. A little bit of data. Josh Allen is 7-4 against the Jets. This is going to sound like redundant, but against the Jets, from what I've seen, he either plays in the wins, he plays really good, and in the losses, he plays really bad, which I know sounds redundant, but like we were just talking about, Joe Burrow played excellent football so far this season, and his team is 1-4. So the Jets and the Bills game, it kind of depends on Josh Allen's play. If Josh Allen's playing like how I think he can play, they're gonna win easily. If he's not playing that good, then that's what happens. But like I was saying about the Jets, offense has been terrible. The defense has been pretty good, but Josh Allen's been good. That Bills offense has been pretty electric for what people thought they were going to be going into this year. They lost Diggs. People thought that was going to be a huge drop off. No receiver one. And, they've been making it work. And Josh Allen's been playing really good football. So Bills -2.5. I think I might have said -3 earlier. Bills -2.5. Hammer it. I think they're going to blow them out. Monday Night Football.
So I don't know what that was. It was just a loud noise outside. And now
Did your power go off, or are you just sitting in the dark?
I'm just sitting in the dark, low key. That's a good. It wasn't that dark like a few minutes ago, but lock of the week. I feel like this is an easy one, and it's going to contradict me because this is my fantasy quarterback. So it does indeed hurt to take a pick that's going to go against Jalen Hurts. But The Cleveland Browns and the Philadelphia Eagles play this week. 42.5. I think that game's going to go under. There's no way that the Browns put up that many points close to it. And if they do, or if they do win the game, it's going to be a low scoring game. They're going to hold the Eagles to probably like 14 or 16 or something like that. So this game is only going to go two ways. 10-15 and the Browns are winning, or 32-0 and the Eagles are winning this game. So under 42.5.
I don't know how this game hasn't been picked yet. I think it's the game of the week. Commanders, Ravens. I mean, those two teams are
It's a
kinda
hard it's a hard one to touch, Sean.
It is, but I don't see it that way.
I like that.
I think the Commanders have it easily. I think
Easily. Wow.
I think it's been a long time since they've been good. And living there for 10 years, I feel their pain. And I'm gonna ride with Washington.
I like it.
Fuck it.
Do you
Hail
know a
to-
lot? Do you know a lot about the Commanders and the Ravens?
I was about to say, add it to the list.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, turn on the notifications. Thank you
Yeah.
for watching, and let's enjoy some football this weekend.
Sure.
Wish Sean good luck on his date.
Wish
Yeah.
Sean good luck on his date tonight.
Hopefully he talks about the Packers and the Cardinals with her.
He's definitely gonna.
Because he knows a lot about them.
Yeah.
He's like, so I do know a lot about the Cardinals and the Packers.
She's got like a Kyler Murray jersey and a Jordan Love phone case, and he's like, I found the one.
A Jordan Love phone. I don't know if I'm ready to dish an open invite to Kyle McCord yet.
Me neither.
Kyle McCord is currently number 8 in Heisman voting. So
Heisman, Kyle McCord.
He did.
Clayton Tune, totally. I don't know about Kyle McCord.